Hi, all my magical peeps. Welcome to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and today we are doing a reading for our full moon in Libra. First of all, happy astrological new year. I always feel like the more I'm tuning into the energy of the universe and the current astrology energy, that Aries season tends to now feel more like a new year than the actual new year, because that time, as some of us know, is a human construct. It doesn't really exist, and the energy of this I feel so much more deeply than that new year. So I hope that in the last bit of Pisces season that you really took advantage of your body calling you to rest and recharge, because now that Aries season is starting on the 21st, we are getting geared up to really go. Things are really going to start moving. And all these lessons that we've been learning for the last 6 months to a year are really going to help us. So I really hope that you've been tuning in and really taking advantage of all the information. So we have a lot of things going on right now at the same time. So Aries season starts on the 21st, as I said, and then we have a full supermoon in Libra on the evening of the 20th going into the 21st, and that is at 0 degrees. And that's a really cool conjunction because Aries is the first sign of the astrology. It's the baby sign, but it's also a cardinal sign. And then we're at 0 degrees with the Libra full moon. So there's we keep getting these little patches of buzzy energy that are just primed for us to take advantage of new things. So that's why there's been so much talk about letting go of old stuff, because we are being called to learn new ways of living, new ways of thinking, new ways of being. And you can't always take on the new stuff until you've gotten rid of the old, or you've figured out how the old no longer serves you. And Aries is all about getting things started, getting things going. It's usually really excited. It usually knows exactly what it's doing. Sometimes on the shadow side, they can act without thinking. And that's why it's nice to have the Libra full moon at this time, because Libra is very pragmatic and what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say democratic. That's not right. Pragmatic. Of course, I thought of it earlier. Diplomatic. Pragmatic, diplomatic. It's all about the balance. Then they very much do think before they act, but usually once they've made up their mind, they know exactly what to do. So the other interesting thing that's coming up is that we have a second full moon right at the last day of Aries, the evening before we go into Taurus, and it's another full moon in Libra at 29 degrees. So that's what each degrees of the sign goes from 0 to 29. Technically, kind of 0 and 29 don't technically exist on the chart because it's that convergence from one side to the other. So we have this very interesting Libra energy that is bookending our Aries season right now. And I think it's going to be really cool and powerful to see what happens. We're going to have this urge to take action, but at the same time with the Libra energy, we're going to have this urge to take diplomatic action or pragmatic action. The need for equality and equity and balance and justice are going to be huge, and we're going to see much more of that sort of stuff happening, where we're realizing that we can't live in this unbalanced world that we've been surviving in, which is also why there's been a rise of feminine energy. And so all these lessons have been about getting in touch with our intuition, kind of getting more balance of our feminine energy, and letting go of old things to let the new come in. So let's start reading cards. Oh, and then of course the spring equinox is on the 21st. And then in the Hindu festival, Holi is going on the 21st also. They base that on the equinox and the moon, and that's the holiday or the festival. It's not really a holiday. They consider it a national holiday now, where they throw the colorful powder on each other, and it's celebrated in some places in the States now too. And it's just a celebration of winter coming to the end and spring coming, is spring beginning. So the energy is ripe for all the great fun stuff. So let's see how Libra is going to help us in that. So Libra in tarot is represented by the Justice card. So that's why I've really mentioned that balance, that justice, the equality, the equity. So I've already shuffled because we don't need to take up your time shuffling. So let's look at what the lesson of this first Libra full moon at 0 degrees is going to be for us. Oh, Temperance in reverse. Temperance in reverse. So Temperance usually is the Sagittarius card, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's Sagittarius. So Temperance, especially in reverse, it's kind of funny because it's like, it's almost like our things are going to get shooken up, which is what I was kind of saying. So it's like if you've been in that place where you think everything's kind of fine and balanced, it's possibly not the way you think it's going to be. Just like we had that tower, the reverse tower, that like if you didn't take the advice of making sure you chill and recharge your batteries, then the universe was going to make you do that by, unfortunately, usually it comes in the form of like sickness. Tons of people were sick. I know a couple people got injured. Really examine, what were you doing before you got sick? What were you doing before you got injured that kind of forced you to stop? Were you just running ragged and you weren't giving yourself a break? And the universe was kind of like, hey, here's a break. It's just not going to be an enjoyable one. So Temperance is kind of plays off of that, especially when it's in reverse. It's very much like, because Temperance usually is about like the balancing of the head and the heart and the masculine and feminine. That's another balance card, along with Justice being a balance card. But when it's in reverse, it's kind of like, it is a little bit of a warning of the shadow side of it. Like you may think things are in balance, or you're like, oh, things are so good, but something might come along and kind of shake up how you think things are, to bring true balance. So this is about finding true balance, not what you perceive to be balance. This is really asking us to really dive deep and see what true balance means for us. I thought I was going to say something else, but now I don't remember what it is. It's very exciting. Like I can feel it intuitively. It's like, like it's like, it's so palpable. Like it's just so close to being like, bam, in your face sort of thing. But so, that's what I was going to say. So make sure you're remaining open, especially during this next month. I mean, it's kind of, a lot of people are kind of waiting for things to pan out also. I know, luckily I talked to quite a few people that are like, you're right, I have all these things I think I have to decide on, and I just need to sit on it for a little while, and kind of let things flow the way they're supposed to, let them play out the way they're supposed to, not forcing them to play out. So stay open. It's just very much about trying to stay open to possible lessons coming in, options. If you are in the middle of big changes and you're trying to choose between two different things, there's probably a third or fourth option that is going to come to the surface in the next month. There's going to be tons of new things coming in, new ideas, new thought patterns, new gifts from the universe that are even greater than what we expect. So just make sure you stay open, because usually to change, it's a little rough. It could be like, really like, I don't want to go there. And then, oh, wait, this was great. This was better than I expected it to be. So just try to stay open, try to go with the flow. So next, let's see how we can get the most out of the next month. Interesting. I got so many reversals lately, you guys. We really, if we don't pay attention to these lessons, it's not going to work out. We want things to work out, don't we? Of course we do. So how can we get the most out of the next month? So we have the Two of Wands in reverse, which is really interesting because we kept getting the Ace of Wands has been coming up a lot. And so the Ace of Wands was all about the inner spark, the things that's going to spark your passion and is really going to bring you fulfillment into your life, and having things that you're working on or things you're attracting things in your life that it really spark that inner flame and get your light going bright. So how can we make the most of the next month? Now, if this came upright like this, I would say, oh, it's time to, venture out, look outside of yourself, and, you're ready. You're ready to go get out there. Not quite. You're not quite ready. We're not quite ready to get out there yet. So it's very much like making sure that you probably found something that sparked that light and that fire in you, but making sure that you have a strong foundation in that and that it's strong in you before you put it out there, before you venture out to this new thing, because there's a lot of new things that are going to happen. Really make sure that you're being pragmatic about it. Make sure you're really looking at all of your options, looking at, asking every single question that you possibly can before you make this new decision. Because once you make the decision, like, things are going to go. So make sure it's a decision you really want to make. If it's a job offer, don't take it just because of the money. If it's a relationship, don't get in a relationship just because you're lonely. Those sort of things. Like, making sure that you are really making these decisions for the right reasons, so that when you're in that place, when it first starts, it's really exciting. It should be exciting. But, it's challenging you to maybe look into the future a little bit. How are you going to feel in that position in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 month? How are you going to feel? So really give yourself some time. We really do have all the time in the world. We all collectively need to start changing that mindset. I know there are certain deadlines and stuff that we can't ignore, but if you're able to ask for more time to figure out these things, just ask. It never hurts to ask. Because you want to really make sure that you're making these decisions from a strong foundational place, and it's for all the right reasons for you to be out on this thing. Okay. So one more card and then we'll pull a Moonology card, but because I keep forgetting to start with this because I'm so excited to talk to you guys, and I could feel the energy like vibing up. Let's all take a big deep breath together if you're still with me. So in your nose and out your mouth. All right, third card. What action can we take to find balance in our relationships without stifling our light and, I can't see my note, our light and our voice? So what action can we take to balance our relationships with others and also ourselves without stifling that light? Because we've been working so hard on finding our light and finding our voice, and sometimes it's hard for the people around us to be around a new you, and we're all coming into these new versions of ourselves because we have to. So let's see. more reversals, you guys. 3 of Cups in reverse. So when 3 of Cups in reverse, it can mean a few things. It can mean to make sure that we're not overindulging, to make sure that we are not dealing with our issues by self-medicating. It also is referencing the 2 of Cups, which is like the ultimate partnership card, even though it doesn't mean just romantic partnerships. It means all partnerships, all relationships. So it is, again, like to honor, to make sure you're honoring those relationships that are worth our time and energy. And the relationships that aren't honoring us and our time and energy, it's kind of, maybe it's time to put up some boundaries And I'm not saying like just cut people off, because people are also in our lives to teach us lessons. You know, we can't just say, you know, if someone pisses us off, they're done, you know, cut them off. And I know that that's been happening a lot. It's been coming up a lot about letting things no longer serve us, get rid of that toxic person. And sometimes it just involves like a little distance. Sometimes it involves a boundary. That, yes, there are certain people that we tell them how we feel, and not everyone's going to handle it well. And that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to be as honest and truthful as we can be, at the same time as being kind and empathetic and compassionate. So we need to remember that especially with the cups, this is all about emotion. Balancing our emotion first before we put it out on somebody else. Realizing, does my reaction come from me or does it come from this other person? Being pragmatic about what that other person may be making you feel. What are they saying they need to take responsibility? What are you doing? What do you need to take responsibility for? Are they just triggering something in you that has actually nothing to do with them and you need to do some more inner work? That could totally be a possibility too. So, and also, like, if you need to talk about stuff with somebody, don't go out drinking with them. If there are things that you want to talk to somebody about, or you've been holding stuff out, probably not a good idea to like go drink or party with them, because after a few drinks, they're going to do something and you're just going to let it all fly, and it's not going to work out very pretty. So we need to make sure that those relationships that we love and honor and want to keep in our lives, that we give those relationships the respect and the love and the compassion they deserve, and that person the respect and love and compassion they deserve, to try to just be honest or be more communicative, and figure out what relationships are worth working on and what relationships are just kind of worth letting fall to the wayside, you know? And just because there's a better way than just telling people to fuck off. Some people you have to tell that to, but let's save that save that for the very last resort. So that's a good one too. So this is interesting. I'll show you guys these cards in a little bit and we'll go over them. So let's pull a Moonology card. This is Yasmine Boland's Moonology Oracle cards, which I love. These are beautiful. I just got them. And we got, the new moon in Taurus. Prosperity lies ahead. So that's cool. So I know it's a little overwhelming with all these different energies, but there's so many of us, and there might just be one little thing that relates to you and what you have going on. So that's why I try to kind of hit all the things, but not do too much because I don't want it to be too overwhelming. Okay, here we go. This card will often come up when you're inquiring about a financial matter or when you're doubting your self-worth. The card suggests you can have what you want, including material things, but you must believe in yourself. That's very interesting because I was listening to a podcast today. That reminds me about another podcast that I will link below, because it's all about Uranus transition into Taurus for the next 7 years, which is interesting that we got this Taurus card too. I will link that below. It's Know the Zodiac podcast with Dossevia, and she's amazing. She's an amazing astrologist, and she lays out how the Uranus and Taurus transition will affect every sign this next 7 years. It's a 7-year transition, so it will be effective. But going back to, you can have your material things, but you must still believe in yourself. This is like You know, you've fixing your feeling of loneliness or being not accepted with material things. Because you can buy all the stuff that makes it look like things are fixed, but until you've done the inner work and you've fixed that feeling, you're just masking. You're just putting a Band-Aid on it. You're just, you know, taking a pill to mask the symptoms and not fixing the problem. So this comes down to the laws of attraction. Value yourself and others will value you too. You can create abundance. Other side note. We do not create abundance. Abundance is a universal truth. Abundance is everywhere around us. Look outside. There are trees. There are houses. There are animals. There's weather. There's all kinds of stuff. Look in your house. You got books. You got furniture. We all just have crap. Abundance of stuff. So we have to recognize that it's all around us. It's just about recognizing it and accessing it. So when you hear that, when you think about manifesting, creating abundance, like I used to say those things, I don't see that or believe that anymore. It's all around us. You just have to see it, know that it's there, and attract it to you, basically. Taurus is associated with luxurious Venus, and Venus also rules Libra. And this card holds the new moon energy. So now is a good time to make a 12-month financial plan. And that's interesting because we're talking about looking into the future, making sure that these big decisions that are coming up are going to be worth the ride and are on, you know, don't just go along with somebody else's story or don't go along with what somebody else wants for you. You need to make sure you want it for you. This card can also signal the start of a new relationship or of sexier times. Ooh, I like that. If you've been wrestling with something for a long time, the new moon in sturdy Taurus is a sign not to give up just yet. Don't give up. Attune to the moon. Get or give a massage. Healthy body, healthy mind. I just got one the other day after I went to yoga. It was awesome. I highly recommend it. This is more about, you know, carrying in that self-care from before. You were practicing the self-care so that when things get crazy, you know how to go back to it. You know what you need to do to make yourself feel you again. Additional meanings for this card: you will soon be able to afford the thing that you're dreaming of. Getting clear on what you value most will help you find peace. Take some time out to pamper yourself. Start a standing order to a savings account, no matter how small. The teaching. We often feel that it's somehow wrong to focus on our finances, but the truth is that money can make life far more comfortable from a physical point of view. Taurus knows this, and the new moon in Taurus is the time to work your magic to create the money you want so you can have the creature comforts you want. Remember, though, that someone else is still wishing for what you already have. Deep breath again. Let that soak in. So, awesome. So, we know what we need to work on. Let me show you these cards. Okay, so since we are at the beginning of the Libra full moon in 0 degrees in the beginning of Aries season, it's very interesting that things are still coming up all in reverse. If you remember 2 weeks ago for Pisces new moon, everything was coming up in reverse also. So let's look here at our little cards and what they have in common. They go together really nicely, actually. I like the red crossover here. We got all of our peoples. So we might be rocked by new lessons of what balance really means in our lives. If new opportunities are coming up, if we've finally gotten our light sparked and we're ready to take that spark and start something new, we just really need to make sure that we're doing all of our due diligence to make sure that it's the right decision. And then we need to find some balance in our relationships. And how do we do that? We honor them. We honor them. We don't ignore them and then just self-medicate and all that jazz. And our relationships are important with other people. You know, we're a social animal, and we have to find the balance of that paradox between being alone and being part of the collective. And then our lovely new moon in Taurus, prosperity lies ahead, is letting us know that if we keep doing our inner work and recognize that we have all the abundance in the world, we will attract more abundance into our lives. So it's really good to plan things, make sure we got our people having our back, and make sure we find balance, because we really ultimately want all of these to be turned upright. We would love for temperance, for things to just be naturally balanced. We would love for it to be time to finally go out into the world and do new things. And we would love to party with our friends and make sure everything's copacetic. But before we do that, we have to make sure that our vision of balance is in line with our highest self. We have to make sure that the journeys that we're taking are in line with our highest self, and that our relationships that we're supposed to be honoring are being honored in the right way and being nurtured. And then we have our money-making Taurus, which is so good because I've also seen so much stuff about money mindset, and we need to collectively change the thought of money from power to energy. There's enough to go around. Abundance is all around us. Very cool. So it's very exciting stuff. I hope that everything made sense. If not, please feel free to ask me questions. If you have personal things going on and you're not sure what to do, please reach out to me. That's what private readings are for. And we can give you a lot of clarity and a lot of action. And it just makes everything a little bit easier while we're navigating this roller coaster of life. It's like we're riding a roller coaster out on choppy seas or something like that. But we're all in this together. So I hope that was helpful, and make sure that you follow me on all of the social medias. Please like this video. Please subscribe below. I will leave you some cool links below to the podcast and to the decks I've used and all that good stuff. All right, that's all. Okay, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks, guys. Love ya. Bye.